As like the theme, we mentioned that earlier as well. Most banned is the Claude. It seems like Echo will be the casualty yet again to not play the Claude. Paquito, though, will be banned out. So it says what? Arlet, Brethren open.
Perhaps the Kaja as well.
Joy as well.
Joy, yeah, Joy. I don't know. Uranus is open as well.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff is open. I double checked it, and you're right. They actually did exclusively win a majority of their games on this Melissa. Now, we see the first pick, we see the Joy. I don't think anybody's going to deny that Joy is really, really good right now in the meta.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a flex pick as well, right? EXP jungle, where are you going? EXP has that vengeance option in that spell. Jungle, very sneaky, very powerful. But Kaja is still open here, a suppression that can counter the Joy. Will they insta-pick it? It seems like they're taking their time here. He first. If not the Kaja, Brethren is going to be the option, but no, they will stick to the Kaja here, countering that Joy.
All right. So they have answers. They have a way to kind of set up for a potential team fight. I kind of like where Echo is leaning and posturing themselves, right? But looking at the bans, the fact that they're already getting rid of the quote-unquote safe marksmen does tell me that it might be a little bit more pick-oriented for the side of BTR.
I mean, if they're going for it, I would be totally fine with that because now something that they have to consider is that Echo has an opportunity to pick up the carry, which is very deadly alongside with the Kaja. If not, I kind of feel like carry will get banned out because, let's face it, the top marksmen right now are carry, Beatrix, 1-1 if you can use it really well, and other than that is the Hive and the Brody. Brody so far, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the Snapdragon Pro Series final group stages, only won once.
Okay. What do you think about this? Where is your stand on Leslie? Do you think Leslie is also a hot pick?
I think it's pretty hot, but I also think it's generally situational, right? Because it takes so long to get to that, critical mass point where you're looking at just two-tap people, ultimate snipe, one-shot people at the same time. But and then when you really think about it, right? The farm is why? Why exactly is he so good? Yeah, you pick Leslie, man, I can tank shots for you and my entire team. But that doesn't change the fact that the flexibility of BTR, it's very evident here.
Plus, I just want to say, if you're going to pick up a Leslie for BTR early, that's a huge mistake because your opponent is Sanford. The moment he sees a Leslie, that's when it's like, okay, you know what? Use them all the way. And there's nothing that they can do. So I kind of feel like picking up a Leslie against a very strong EXP laner, very, very hard thing to do. But I can already hear the sigh of like, I know it's a strong hero, but goddamn, is he boring?
No, just don't do Sanford dirty like this, man. Like, unless they're doing some kind of wacky nonsense where they kind of shift things up and not put this Uranus in the EXP lane.
No, it's a lightning truncheon on Uranus.
don't even pull my leg right now. I'm furious already. But Echo is setting up nicely, right? They're making sure that they're getting rid of the Franco, making sure that at least BTR don't have at least a suppression on their side, or at least a decent pick-off potential that's safe. And they even get rid of the counter pick of Dairoth on the opposite end.
Which makes sense, right? I mean, if you if you really look at it, right, the Franco man comes through because there are no crowd control from side of Bigatron, so they will look for that pick in that second phase. And right, Dairoth ban just makes sense. Hard counter towards that. Uranus asking a question here towards Orizo, what are you going to play? Going up against that Uranus, but Bigatron here. Okay, the Herod ban comes through. Outplayed. Targeted somehow.
Okay, so if Harrod is going to get banned, they're purposely letting through things like Beatrix, they're just going to double check Harry as well.
Leslie Brody and all those.
Leslie Brody, but the thing is that unfortunately for BTR, they're not exactly the tankiest lineup as of right now. That might change in the next couple of minutes or so, but we do see the Brody get locked in for the side of Echo, and they really want to punish this. You're really, really squishy? Perfect. I can finish you guys off pretty easily.
I mean, if the Brody gets a big advantage in the first 6 minutes, it's going to be a situation where even the cut altar could be basically nullified with just the first skill of Brody. So that's going to be very, very dangerous, but we got to look at the laning phase. Can you actually do it that well? Because the fact that you have a Paramis is to deny the first burst. But Brody is burst over burst over burst.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that mid priority is really wonky right now. Like, I would say that Echo definitely will get that first push and first rotation, and even if Joy goes into the jungle, there's not enough speed to actually buffer that bottom side of the map, assuming that the gold lane is going to be on the bottom side. Ruby, Kufra.
Power controls, yeah.
I really like the Kufra Ruby. Actually, no, even the Ruby is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a pretty well. I mean, it's a sandbag up in the EXP side, but these team fights are going to be exciting.
Oh yeah.
It's to anticipate a possible assassin pick as well, right? With the Ruby and as well as the Kufra right here. So a very solid pick. But I don't know. I'm feeling kind of iffy
I mean,
with the
Frederick's
3
still
picks.
up.
Fredrin is still up, sure. I don't know.
Or Martis.
Oh.
You like Martis?
I was thinking,
Oh, true.
I was thinking that maybe Echo wanted to be a little spicy for game number 1, just like knowing that Joy's on the opposite end, like Ishin's in danger.
Oh.
Like you
Yeah.
show up the marksman, be super fast on it, and maybe look to outscale your opponent. But it's a good draft.
You know what? I agree. And now, casters, do you agree?
Yeah, we completely agree over here. Not really sure what he said earlier on because I was adjusting my seat, but yeah, we do agree. But here it is on the caster desk. It's me, Eterna, alongside with Mirko. Now, how are we feeling about these 2 drafts?
Well, honestly, look at Bigatron Alpha's draft. I think they are, doubling down on what made them such a good team in the group stages and even in MPL Indonesia. They're going for these team fights, heavy skirmishes, pickoffs from the get-go, and that systematic playstyle in the early game.
For sure, I think they have really, oh, what were you doing?
No, it's just a test.
Oh, you're getting ready. You're getting ready for Bigatron losing this
Wait.
championship.
Oh,
Why are you getting ready, bro?
Wait, okay, but you just said Bigatron will lose. Why'd you predict Bigatron then?
I didn't say Bigatron's gonna lose. I said you're predicting that Bigatron's gonna lose because you're getting ready for the dance.
Oh, no, that was just
What's
like
going on?
It's called a preventive measure.
All right.
I don't know how
we'll
it
take
is, but you're
So-
wearing purple.
I am.
Are you
I'm
Echo?
wearing pink.
Pink, and your
Are you
hair
a
is
little
purple.
colorblind?
Maybe, it
My hair
rubbed
is
off.
purple.
Are you
But
Echo
I have
side?
to go for Bigatron in this one.
Why? You don't usually go for BTR,
I don't like to admit it, but with this new lineup, I'm just not too certain with what they're going to be able to bring out against Bigatron with their roster that's already formed. They already have their synergy down to a T, and they're playing with huge crowd control and huge presence in the, I would say, just when they go for team fights, right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome you to the Land of Dawn for game number 1 between Bigatron as well as Echo. And you can already see here a little bit of invades going on. JP, very aggressive in this early stage.
Already the retry used up though. Oh, flicker by JP, knocked out by the Tiger's Revenge. Only the early game flicker though, burns out here. No problem for Echo. This is a pretty new team. We actually spoke about this off cam. JP stepping in for Yaoi now. As you can see from their trio MDL, it seems like, the synergy just is better for them with JP stepping on.
A little bit sad. But on the other hand, I'm actually quite intrigued to see how this is going to work out. And talking about intrigue, look at Key's choice of talent. He actually went for lethal ignition to what we're used to accustomed, which is pull yourself together.
Wait, Super Ken, I don't know what happened early. Oh, he stole the orange buff, Saida! Early on, already pushing Super Ken into deep waters. And Super Ken is still level 2. Saida's level 4, and he's going to clear the entirety of his own orange buff as well. Bigatron Alpha struggling early game.
I think that's genius. I think that's
Beautiful.
a genius play coming in from Echo. A lot of the times when Bigatron Alpha are leading, it's because the Super Ken can always get that level lead. But in this instant, the fact that Echo have been so great at pressuring Super Ken, just preventing that rotation from happening. You can see Bigatron Alpha looking for crumbs here, especially now that the neutral objective is about to spawn. A lot of them not yet level 4 just yet, like Key, who heavily needs it, as well as Supervin. So already a huge dub for Echo here in this first neutral objective.
Huge dub is a bit of an understatement. At this point, it's just Echo who can do anything they want in the neutral objectives. Bigatron Alpha can't even look for a contestant. Just like that, Saida picks up the first turtle of the game. Level 5 on the way to 6. He's already going for more invades, completely capitalizing, punishing Super Ken on the joy. Supervin, Tiger's Revenge coming down. JP with a good divine judgment, but Key jumps in now with the Cult Altar helping him out. The real revelation comes down from Stanji, able to dish out a lot of damage as Rizzo jumps in the back, but Key falls to the hands of Saida. Echo, they start first with a first blood.
This is what we're expecting from the composition that Echo have brought. They're going in for a lot of pickups. They're going in for that early lead. And you can see here, even, oh wait, so Rizzo, okay, Zaida still gets that buff. But despite the option that Bigatron actually has later on, I feel like that power spike comes later. So Bigatron Alpha, they just need to be able to sustain through all this aggression, try to pass and push through the aggression coming in from Echo, and they're gonna be just fine because the power spikes. They gotta wait for the power spikes. If they play into the tempo of Echo, that's when things get a little bit too snowbally, especially for Zyda, and that's dangerous.
Absolutely. I think for Echo, they need to try to just utilize this pressure that they have, start going for early invades, and just secure neutral objectives. Because at this point, well, good Divine Judgment, bringing Super Vid back. The Menace Rage comes down, but Outplayed is able to outplay the situation, gets out and gets a kill back to 0 for Echo.
Sitting 1-0-0 as well for Outplayed in particular. You think that, let's say, you don't see some progress from Echo and Outplayed, it just really shines as always. And we're also talking about the synergy between the trio. It's looking pretty good, Mirko. It's scary.
It really is. I mean, we've been seeing this. When JP stepped into the group stages, it just feels like Echo finally clicked. We haven't seen this style of Echo in a long time. I think it was M4 and MPLPH Season 11 that we got to see prime Echo. But at this point, 2,000 gold lead, it's safe to say that they are comfortably in the lead. And you know what happens when Echo are in the lead usually? It's very hard to take it off of them.
We'll see, we'll see. I mean, right now, both these teams, they're going to look for a little bit more. Echo already has the upper hand in this neutral objective. A better setup as well. Saken, it's not it. Oh, JP goes in.
Clear Divine Judgment, good disengage. Super Vin gets him out, but he's going to pay with his life. Zyda's the one who picks up the kill. Outplayed, not given the kill here, but Echo, they still utilize this to completely bully Saken in lane. You can expect the entirety of the shield turret be taken out by Outplayed.
And this is an automatic 3,000 gold lead right now as Sanji opens up that real-world manipulation. He's actually forced to use that Cult Altar as well, so another resource just stripped away from Bigatron Alpha here in the first 5 minutes of the game. Can you imagine with all this happening? It's only been 5 minutes in the game. Echo, whether it be MPL, MDL, they certainly know how to punish their enemies. And here we go, once again, going to the bottom side.
Oh, Shield Unity stopping Super Ken as he dashes forward, but what is that damage? Sanford on the Uranus, they're looking for a dive. Sanji flickers forward, Super Ken under the turret, falls to Sanji with a flicker. Very, very aggressive. And the Echo Express now, they're all in.
Oh, they're going all in as well here. Key forced to flicker out of that aggression coming in from Zyda as he doesn't mind going under the turret. He's not deterred with the damage from the turret here. Echo, 4,000 gold lead already, getting another turret in that mid side. It's not something that we're used to seeing from Bigatron. Super Ken at 2 levels, 3 levels below Zyda right now. Certainly isn't a good game, but that's just it, right? Sanford 2v1ing Saken, the main damage dealer, dealing 0 to little damage. How are they supposed to play around this?
I mean, at this point, Echo completely just, forced Bigatron Alpha into a corner, right? It's just Echo doing everything on the map. You don't see any sort of counterplay for Bigatron Alpha. They're not even able to contest for anything, even their own orange buff. Heck, Super Ken, I think he's only gotten 1 orange buff this entire game, and that's the one previously from this one. Zyda was able to steal it away with the Retribution, and it's perfectly timed for the turtle that's coming up. Sanford eats a few turret shots, but it's all good. Zyda picks up the turtle for free again. And Echo are just rolling through Bigatron Alpha.
Dude, no way. Saken just picked up the Blade of Despair. He's so far behind. Outplayed. Brody already picked up the Malefic Roar in comparison. So you can already see the difference in damage coming in from both of... Oh, wait a minute, JP!
Flicker Divine Judgment onto Cerezo, but it's a good pull into the Menace Rage. Now the Call Altar saves them, and they find a kill. Super Fit in the back finds 3 members, and now Saken is on a roll. They pick up a triple kill out of nowhere, and Bigatron Alpha, somehow, some way, they found an opening in the game.
The venue roars. They're so happy to see this really come to this point. Like you mentioned, with 4 members taken down from Echo, now that's the beauty of the composition that Bigatron Alpha brought to the table. They have so much CC, they have so much potential and resources that they can utilize in these team fights to outplay Echo in these circumstances. And taking a look at the items here, this is what I was so concerned about. With Brody already picking up the Heptases and the Malefic Roar, that's already enough damage. Meanwhile, the Beatrix just picked up that Blade of Despair, Mirko.
We mentioned this earlier. We said maybe this is going to be a late power spike for the Beatrix, 7th minute BOD, but then they just got a triple kill. So it kind of equalizes everything that Outplayed has been doing. All the gold lead that he had, now it's only down to 10 a turn up. And Saken, he's in the same level as Outplayed. Even Super Ken has been given enough time and resources to catch up by a bit. But Zaida is still very much in a comfortable position, 2 levels ahead. It's going to be 3 after he clears this mini wave up.
That's not good at all here coming in from the rotations, but like you mentioned, there is still a possibility for Bigatron Alpha to come back. And so now Echo, they're put in a position, they're given the question, how are you going to be able to close this as soon as possible? Because with the laning phase already done and dusted, these teams, they're going to clump up as 5. And in this 5v5 kind of situation, I feel like the competition for Bigatron Alpha works a little bit better. And now we'll see exactly how this is going to work out, because 8 minutes in, 9 minutes in, you can see that Echo, they're already starting the Lord. You can see the positioning coming in from Sorizo. Even if he doesn't land his skill shots, there's always Key, there's always Supervin as well. So they also need to be aware of where Supervin is in these particular team fights.
Well, by JP. He's looking for Super Ken. Stanford spots Super Ken right now. JP has the flicker. Not going to be able to go in just yet. He's holding on to it, but Supervin jumps in. Now finds the Tyrant's Rage on the JP. Now it's an all-out fight as Rizzo was able to pull Outplayed, but he's able to flicker back out. Lord taking very low right now, and it's Zaida who secures the tournament memory. Instant back by Outplayed, and he wreaks havoc upon the robots. Rizzo running for his dear life, and Echo, they're able to secure another massive neutral objective.
And a 2-for-1 trade in terms of the teams. Echo getting all the right picks, all the right trades, and all the right places here. You can see the Lord already marching there in the mid side. Sanji already being super annoying. The slow is there. You can feel the damage start to come through, especially since he already picked up that Holy Crystal. And there you go, Outplayed with that BOD. You can expect that to land. Super high damage coming into the siege.
Lord's still going to be dealt with, though. However, Echo won the team fight. But unfortunately for them, they weren't able to take Saken down, who is basically, for Bigatron Alpha, the only sort of really reliable wave clear. On this Bennett, you saw it with your own eyes. JP though, flicker, oh, he catches Supervin, brilliantly played. Bringing him back now, Outplayed, dishing out the damage on Tornapot memory, taking him out with a killing spree. Saken able to dash out, Key as well. Oh, what is that damage from Outplayed? Saken just stands his ground with the Mirror's Passion. I'm offended, bringing JP back, but the turret should still fall. Outplayed, just hitting, munching on these turrets.
All right. No casualties from the side of Echo, but Supervin had to go out because of that engage. But here we see start of a silver lining coming in from Bigatron Alpha, right? As this game progresses, like we mentioned, things are getting a little bit more equal. You can see here Saken on the gold earned leaderboard, really catching up to Outplayed. I think there's 1,000 difference, but now Saken already picked up the Malefic Roar. So in these team fights, when they're expecting Saken to deal the damage, he definitely can, but they need to be able to protect him long enough, which he was able to do previously. But with this dive,
in this cut, Stanford brought back JP. No flicker this time, so Bigatron Alpha still can escape, but you want to finish your point?
yeah, I was worried about the dive, right? Because that's what Echo has. They have Zaida to dive into the backline. They have JP to go for that ultimate on to Saken. And with these kinds of distractions happening and with so many things that Saken really needs to avoid, it's a little bit more difficult for Bigatron Alpha.
I agree. I think for Bigatron Alpha, it really relies on how Saken is able to play out in these team fights, right? Because it feels like it is still a front-to-back composition, heavily prioritizing Saken. You have a few die members from Super Ken, but they're just there to act as a distraction or just to take out Sanji. Supervin now caught all alone, isolated from the team, taken out even without anything. Flicker, I'm offended, and Tyrant's Rage coming down with a Bennett's Rage. Drop down upon Echo. Now Outplayed is going to be shut down in the back to Rizzo out of nowhere. Picks up a double. Now stunning JP up. Saken clearing out the waves. 2 members down for Echo as the Lord, this time in hands, spawns in.
Oh no! 4 members still alive and well for the side of Bigatron Alpha. The lead that Echo have built from that early game now is going to be tested here in the 13th minute of the game. You can see also Riza goes in with I'm Offended. He's still able to get out though, but this is the Lord Dance that severely favors Bigatron Alpha here.
Outplayed is respawning though. Super Vin as well. Now with Sanji and Outplayed back, Bigatron Alpha, that window has closed to go for the Lord. Echo will go back. They have a slow push down below as well. I'm Offended with a Venice Rage combo down. JP almost losing immortality. Is able to dash away, but the real world manipulation has been used. Shielding out, jumping onto Chorizo. Is still able to escape for a bit, but they're looking to hunt him down. Slowed once again. Chorizo gets out. Echo, they've committed 2 ultimates. Third is Poissons and the RWM. Bigatron, they've committed 1 now.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it, right? They're able to buy some time for their team. They were able to zone the members of Bigatron Alpha away. And even if they committed and they at least get a pick onto the side of Bigatron Alpha, the Super can really want to go for a 50-50. He's still a level below Zyda right now. So I don't know how far Bigatron Alpha are willing to contest. I think they need to buy some time for Super Ken in particular to catch just a little bit up before they go for a 50-50. I'm wondering why they still want to commit onto this. Why not look for something else on the other side of the map?
Simply put, it's Echo that is forcing it. You can see it's Echo that are holding the lore down. They are starting this lore dance. So Bigatron Alpha, they have no other way, no other response but to try to match it. Sure, 1 level lead. Zyda definitely has the advantage, and it's a big one here, especially considering Echo have a Divine Judgment within their arsenal. But it's a fight that Bigatron Alpha needs to take. They need to try to push these waves as well, and so far, take a look at the slow push down below. Bigatron Alpha have done their due diligence here, clearing out the waves, getting good setup down for this Lord Dance.
That's true, that's true. You can see here already Zyda forcing to clear that mid wave as well. I guess that's an objective that they're willing to let go. Because of the short side, they are going to be able to clear that top, but look at this. JP already with concealed play. He used Flicker as well.
JP used Flicker, has the Divine Judgment, so Rizzo now caught in the mid right now. The Divine Judgment comes through on the Super Canonical Altar, saves his life. In the back, you can see Super Finn jumping in with the Rage, but Chorizo falls first. The Rage doesn't connect onto anyone. Sanji's able to withstand it with the real world manipulation. And just like that, Echo, they will secure another neutral objective through their chaotic team fight.
If it was Leo, he would be saying how the Orcas know how to tango, and that's exactly what they were able to do. Make it a little bit more messier, not a pure 5v5. Use the fact that their composition was built for pickoffs and getting 2 in the process, plus a Lord as well. All in all, it's Echo with the advantage and as well with the map pressure. And Bigatron Alpha still looking for ways to punish the Orcas here.
It's a super one-dimensional team fight comp for Bigatron Alpha, and that's why they have to rely on these team fights. Meanwhile, Echo, the reason you see them completely, I would say, dominating in this game, aside from some team fights, is the fact that they have everything in their game, everything in their drafts. They were given the right tools, and now this might be the end.
Truly is here. Outplayed already picking up the Athena shield as well, so just in case there's some damage coming out from a Key, as well as Super Ken. Honestly, he is going to be able to outmaneuver and outsustain that damage. That Lord already being able to get that inhibitor turret in the top side. You can see Sanford as well as Zyda pushing in that bottom lane. But it's going to be defended here. Bigatron Alpha, they walk away, but they walk away with 1 less inhibitor turret. But look at that mid and that bottom wave crashing in unison.
The Siege has to stop JP with a good pull. Chorizo pulled back the Core Ultra, not within the range. Now Super Ken jumping to the back now with the rhythm, dealing a lot of damage on the back, but look at the damage coming through as well. Wow, he finds Sanji in that team fight, and not even the base turret falls here. JP gets shot, still tanky enough to withstand. Meanwhile, Sanford, the prodigy from the Philippines, taking the second base turret down in the bottom lane.
Super Vin? Oh, it catches!
Revenge and the Rage don't fall up right now. Outplayed, able to flicker around, but the Shadow Stampede brings him back. Now Stalking dealing damage, but Outplayed! With a brilliant play to cancel it out to get a kill back on the Stalking. Now it's Zyda and Sanford versus Vin and Ken. Both will disengage, but Bigatron Alpha, they have lost this skirmish.
And they lose Saken in the process. A really good pick coming in off from Super Vin, but unfortunately, it's not as worth it now that we think about it. You can see, though, it does give some space for Super Ken. Sanford, what are you doing?
Oh, consecration, Stanford!
Wow.
The genius!
I would have sworn that was Sanford's second death of this game. But he
It's-
was able to get out of that. What is that?
It's a type of play that you wouldn't expect from anyone except for Sanford. If it's Sanford, you chill. You take a chill pill and you relax because Sanford knows his limits. Take a look at the items here. The reason he wanted to push it even further, to risk that, was because he knows, he calculates this. With the Oracle, the Blade Armor, and even the Radiant Armor here, there's not much kill threat from Bigatron Alpha.
All right. But you know what's a threat?
What?
The fact that Faramis built full damage. That's scary coming into these team fights. So not only does he have the sustain, he also is going to be able to deal that damage. And I keep mentioning this in the drafts. People don't really consider Faramis to be a huge magic dealer. But the fact is you don't feel it. But he is, especially with how aggressive he was building, even with the Divine Glaive as well for that extra penetration. Echo, though now, you're going to be able to set up for this Lord a little bit better. They've actually brought it to their side as well. This is scary.
Very scary. I think it's much better than previous. Look at this, Chorizo already sent down below. Finn wants to go for it even without Chorizo. Risky play, CP! Flicker in, only finding Divine Judgment on the Super Finn and Super Ken now. Pops in the rhythms. Big ultimate used up by Super Ken. Zaida with the shield unity. JP, no Divine Judgment, but the real Worm Relation comes down on the key. Flickers out. Sanford gunning him down. Outplayed with a good dash forward. Stunning stocking up now with the Flicker coming down. Outplayed still able to burst him down. Super Ken and Zaida 50-50 on the back. Let's see who gets this because the fight definitely went to Echo and even the Lord. Zaida has picked it up and Super Ken will fall. 16-9, 19 minutes in.
The three members on the side of Bigatron Alpha are out as well. Key is going to be up just in time to save this, but with Super Vin and Super Ken off the board, what is Echo expecting to take here other than victory? That top lane is going to be crashing, that mid as well. That bottom is going to in favor of Echo because of the lack of the inhibitor turret. Echo, once again, what amazing plays happening, and look at this.
Even with the Menace Rage, the RWM from Sanji was perfect. Outplayed now, bursting Chorizo down, the base wide open, and Echo, they'll take game number 1.
What an amazing start to the series by the Orcas. Even without Yaoi, they're proving that they have what it takes. Not even sweating, just a bit. From that early game to that mid game, up until the very end, and it felt like Bigatron, they were drowning in the rhythm that was made by Echo.
They got hit by the Echo Express that was going full throttle. Bigatron Alpha, the Red Robots, will have to adjust a lot in their draft and in the way they play because I think they were expecting a different Echo. They were expecting one with Yaoi, perhaps. This is JP's time.
It truly is, and what an amazing performance that he was able to do on a Kaja, right? There were so many moments that these inefficiencies were created for Bigatron Alpha because of his divine judgments. And with him stepping in, it has been amazing. Let's hear what the panelists have to say about that game.
Honestly, a lot has to be said. I want to talk about the early game, but now I do want to talk about the items as well. Perhaps the people in chat, if you guys know the interaction, because Key here, he's using the Roam Boots favor. And the thing is, what favor does is it heals your team, but only when you give a shield or when you heal them. So does the altar considered as a shield? Because that's interesting.
It is an interesting interaction, right? Because if that is the case, I think more people are going to be picking up the favor for this farm is later down the line or as the meta continues to develop. Because I was expecting like Encourage, I was expecting Dire Hit at the very least.
Yeah, I was expecting perhaps the Encourage, right? It just makes more sense. But then again, in hindsight, Bigatron's composition, what is lacking from their side is burst, right? They have a lot of DPS, but when you see Super Vin catching one, perhaps an engage from Chorizo as well, that burst was evident that they were just a little bit lacking on the other side. A lot of burst.
Here's the thing. The person that says not how you start, it's how you finish, did not watch this game. Because I believe, for Bigatron, the burst that they were looking for was from Super Ken. But the fact that you're starting the game, you're level 2, and your opposing jungler is level 4, That's insane because I watched back, the replay in the early game. JP prevented Super Ken from clearing very fast, and then it's not just Zyda, it's Sanford as well. They were both clearing the jungle.
Yeah, no, this just shows how the composition and what Echo's game plan wanted to do, right? When you have Zyda on this box here, it's all about being oppressive, but you have a collaborative effort. Outplay is strong in the earlier stages of the game, and especially with JP roaming around and constantly forcing it out, Saken has to be very careful, right? He doesn't want to get caught out, but at the same time, he can't just let people like Outplay hard shove the lane. And then there's Sanford, who's like, I don't care, I'm going to shove this out, I'm going to instantly invade, and I'm bringing the whole squad with me.
Very effective spell as well, right? From the Uranus, a Purify, realizing that perhaps the Ruby or the Kufra might cause him problem. So I'm gonna play it safe, MVP. You know what? Anyone deserves it, but I also see Zyda can get this MVP.
I mean, like, he is, I would say, one of the main reasons why Super Ken had a very difficult time in this game. And that, in my opinion, is MVP worthy because you're basically shutting down one of the key win conditions for Bigatron.
Yeah, I mean, the plan was simple, right? It was about getting the Joy to make sure that Sanji was less effective with the RWM. But unfortunately, with the early game not going in their favor, I will admit BTR had a couple of good turnaround moments to scale into the later stages, but that's when it came down to those big moments. Are you able to close this out by securing the Lords? And Zyda won those a majority of the time.
Yeah, now looking back into the highlights, like you said, especially when Zorizo as well as Key is there, there's a lot of turnarounds. But again, so far, on point with the retributions, and just Echo as a team understands, like, guys, they're probably going to win a lot of team fights because of all the control, as well, all of the burst deny. So we just got to be a little bit patient and then come in once we're more comfortable.
Here's the thing, right? I don't know about you guys, but my personal opinion is once you have developed at least a 4 to even 5K goal lead, you want to maintain that until the first Lord comes by and develop that into an 8K, maybe even 10K goal lead and close it out on second Lord. We saw Echo being a little disrespectful, and that's when we see the turnaround coming in from BTR at 7 minutes, 12 seconds, and one more later down the line, but you have to give it to Bigatron Alpha. They recovered surprisingly well for such an impressive early game from Echo.
Yeah, true. I mean, holding on with this type of composition with that early game as well. An impressive defense, but nonetheless, they were playing to lose in this game. Very hard for them to somehow find that loophole to really claim control.
Yeah, congratulations to Echo for winning the first game against Bigatron Alpha. And again, for today, we've seen a reason why, unfortunately, it's still very difficult to bring in damage junglers into the scene just because you're very susceptible to getting punished. We saw that with Red Giants. Kyrie was able to get away with it just because the entire team made sure that they had maintained very good map control.
That's the thing, right? With map control, it comes down to what the composition lane matchups actually matter so much. Because if you're able to force out priority, you're able to clear the way first, you make that first rotation no matter what the situation is going to be, whether it be your enemy jungler or invading the enemy jungle or playing defensively back in your own. And it's tough because you're punishing Joy's slow early clear. We didn't get to see much of a leash at the same time, so well done to Echo, utilizing all of the tools in their arsenal.
A very tough game indeed, right? I mean, Joy was behind already, and in that mid-game, late-game, Radiant Armor was built, so not enough damage for the Joy to really burst. Sure, he can target the Eve, which we saw earlier in Game 1, but Eve wasn't wearing any magic resistance, wasn't wearing any Radiant Armor, so a clear target, but then again, overall, it was just a tough game for Super Ken.
Yeah, cut back to just Sanford on Uranus, just salt poppying away, just running off. Oh, nobody can catch me, nobody's gonna kill me, even at 1% HP.
Yeah, so in a way, moving towards game number 2, I really feel Bigatron Alpha, they gotta make sure that their early game is not interrupted because we see glimpses when it comes to the team fights. They look very good. It's just that one point around the purple area where we saw Saken, unfortunately, is like, okay, I can go in, but Outplay with the Brody was able to specifically target the Beatrix having enough stacks and then using the torn apart memory, and it's like, okay, 1 HP left, anyone can go get it.
Uranus.
and then Uranus just comes
Yeah.
in and then sweeps it away. So it's one of the situations where they have to be careful. But speaking of being careful, you guys got to be careful when you guys are buying a phone because I want to use it for a very long time. So make sure you guys get the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Again, thank you very much for sponsoring this amazing event, Snapdragon Pro Series. Again, powered by Samsung Galaxy. Make sure you guys get one for yourselves because it's amazing.
It's a great phone. I mean, if you want to be able to walk away just like Sanford at 1% HP, you're going to need to make sure you have that AMOLED 120 hertz screen as well from the Samsung Galaxy S23. Because if you don't have those frames, man, you won't know when you're 1%. You'd know when you're like 5%, but not 1.
Dude, 1% and then healing back up to almost 100?
I hate this girl. I hate the guts. of this
Uranus,
girl.
man.
Dude.
Maybe Game 2 ban it out or
Why not?
allow it. I mean, Bigatron has the first pick. They opted for that Joy pick.
Why not?
Pick it up, I guess. No.
Why are you complaining? You don't like the hero.
I really don't like the
So just
hero.
ban it.
I would say that at the very least, if it is open, you're looking to pick it up for yourself, right? I feel like BCR and as well as Echo have very opposing ideas to how they actually want to play
Approach.
out these team fights, right? Team fight priority, and even scaling. Because they only had 2 heroes that technically were looking to scale. The rest were looking to just be hard, tanky, beefy boys. And then we come back to Echo, it's like, we don't just want tanky, beefy boys.
And girl.
And girl.
That's Ruby.
We wanted utility. And I think, in that sense, it gives them more flexibility and diversity to approach the situation. Unless you're BTR and you're Super Vin, sometimes it just falls into your lap. Does it not? Does it
Yeah.
not? He's at the
I
right
agree
place
with that.
at the right time all the time.
Oh,
I mean, that shows experience, right? I mean, I think Supervin can do that because he trusts his team. Because he's like, I don't have to cover for you there. I can flank from behind and then do something to set things up for you guys. So I kind of feel like that's the trust built within Bigatron. So they're like, okay, guys, just don't die. As long as you guys don't die, I'll come to get a good save.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Bigatron showed heart in that game. They were falling behind already from that early, but it seems like they were able to just hold on till the 20th minute. So, you know what? Game 2, it's a reset here. So just a couple of tweaks in their draft, perhaps. I think this
Yeah.
series you might see a Game 3.
So honestly, because of this, I do want to ask you guys, were there any problematic heroes that we saw just now?
Eve. Stop
Yeah.
giving Sanji Eve. He is way too comfortable on this hero. That's number one. And second of all, especially when you don't have another form of suppression to stop it, especially if you are going to be the marksman, like you mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Beatrix, she's super broken, right? Get the Haspal, she's essentially going to just 1v5.
Yeah.
The only problem is that RWM does not let her get into the fight to free hit.
True. Very good point.
Yeah, maybe I really dislike a Fairness going up against Eve, right?
Oh yeah, that's true as well.
I mean, they picked
Very
up
true.
the Yi first, and then the Fairness. Sure, you have extra sustainability with that call of altar, but head-to-head wise, Yive's gonna win 9 out of 10 times.
Well, I think I can agree with that, but it's a draft, right? Not every lane can be a winning lane. I just hope that Key doesn't get shafted this time around.
Okay, it's still Key. Do they swap members? No, it's still okay.
They didn't swap members.
If you can see their faces, man, you got very good eyesight.
I can see their names.
Look, I got glasses.
I
for a
can't even
reason.
see their names.
Maybe you should consider getting glasses. They're pretty good.
Not gonna lie.
That's a new invention, by the way.
Not... Wow. Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, that was like borderline offensive. Even I felt that.
All right, jumping into the draft. Bigatron banning out Valentina as well as Claude. Looks like Bigatron Alpha is the second pick here, and Echo is the first. And looks like Echo not changing their bans.
Same approach. Oh,
Yeah.
they switch sides, right? Bigatron here with the second pick.
because of the order, I'm guessing Echo is first pick.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a fair assumption here. So with Echo being on blue side and then looking at Bigatron going on to the red side, having second pick, it's great for the second phase. And I think that's
They
going
hurt
to be, yeah, I mean, it's going to be very helpful for them because at least they can respond exactly how they want to against Echo rather than just being like, here are a bunch of questions that you have to answer. Oh no, I've run out of questions to give.
Now the question is, Sanford, does he want a first pick Joy here?
Joy Uranus again is also open. Is it worth to pick it up first pick here? Because last time it was third pick, right? The Uranus. Let's see here.
No, because
He
like
banned out though.
Sanford is just like, yeah, just give me anything. Trust me, it'll be
I
great.
know.
But
I'll deliver.
yeah, Kaja first pick for JP.
Okay. Just super early on. This is rather strange, right? You go, I mean, yes, JP played like a very, I would say, very flashy in-game number one. Honestly, borderline disrespectful even.
Sometimes helping out Bigatron.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, okay, sure. Well, what's the play here coming out from Echo, right? BTR, we'll see what the response is. There might be some minor adjustments if there's a good time to actually, if there is a good time to, I was about to say steal away the E, but they've already banned it out. So
Yeah.
one problem solved.
No, that's why I said they heard you. Don't let Sanji get the E.
Sorry, I'm just gonna move this box just a little bit so I can see the bands better. All right, now we see the oh man, the Farmers and as well as the Uranus, and it feels like even though Yves is banned, Bigatron's like, I am you, brother.
Yeah.
They don't care. And a very good pickup as well here with the Uranus, but the Giraffe is open. Here.
Oh yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
There you go, Giraffe, and perhaps one good hero. You know what, Sakura Claw here just makes sense.
I mean, if it wasn't banned out, they would have guaranteed locked it in, bro.
You have to move your box as well.
Yeah, I need to move my box.
Yeah.
as well.
All right, so,
Okay,
we
the
see,
Farsa.
so we see the Farsa. Once again, an artillery mage coming in for someone like Sanji is always going to be devastating, but at least it is punishable.
Yeah. You know what? Wait,
what?
I was about to say they need some kind of burst. That's kind of bursty.
Easy backline access, and more so, at least the early game is probably going to be a lot better for Bigatron.
Now they gotta ban out those very annoying junglers. Yeah, ban out the box. Yeah, ban out the Fredrin. Don't, because you don't want to get invaded, man.
Or Brody, right, who also is good in that gold lane.
True.
Going up against a Fanny, perhaps one Fredrin, one.
I almost want to
Brody.
say Boxia, man. And right now, Boxia feels more annoying than the Fredrin, but
True.
never mind us. We're not good about the game. They're banning out Marcus.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so they ban out the Marcus. They know that they have like a lot of damage from the two picks from Echo side, the Dyroth as well as Farsa. I kind of get it. If they are going with Gani's idea, they're probably going to ban out the Boxia alongside it. But let's see what Echo does. They get rid of the Franco. Okay, so suppression, same situation again.
Enjoy still, but
Joy is still open,
I
but
mean, Joy Jungle if they want it.
Joy Jungle is a possibility. But Brody, why I feel like Bigatron has an option to let it go is because they have the first pick in that second phase, right? Which perhaps they might pick it up for themselves here. So yeah, they might commit to another fighter jungler here towards the ban. Fredrin or
It's personal preference, right? Whatever Bigatron decides to ban out, there's got to be a very good reason for it. It's not like, get rid of the flex pick, making sure that it's not awkward for them, and now Echo has to respond.
ooh, I don't know. What will they ban? Kadena is still open, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Do they really care about the Kadena? I feel like, yes, you could put Farmers in the support position and then Kadena into the mid, or vice versa. It really depends on how they want to play it. But I feel like Echo, at the end of the day, their composition, especially when you have that Dyroth, like, yes, team fights sound like a good idea, but Dyroth is kind of just there half the time, right? Unless they have a strong four, which I think is a little bit more important for Echo's side, they're probably looking for some bigger tanks at the very least. Get rid of the One. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, One getting banned out. So here, again, I kind of feel like Saken's features just now was pretty good. Don't know whether they want to lean on that again or just like what Gani said, just pick up the Brody so that the fan will have a better time. And again, Brody is still pretty good, legit pretty good. And you kind of don't want to give that again with the Kaja. Because Kaja flickers in, catches anyone, and then like what, 2-3 basic attacks and it's done? I mean, if it's not done, it just torn apart memory.
I guess. I mean, if Bigatron wants to deny it away, that'd be perfectly fine as well. We'll see how this goes. Beatrix once again, yep.
Whoa, so it will ignore.
If it ain't broke, man.
If it ain't broke.
The answer to all your problems, just have a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you throw enough cash at it, it probably will disappear.
Yeah. Advice for you kids.
Advice for the
Study
next
hard,
generation.
work hard, get a lot of money.
All right, let's come back to Echo as they need to finish off their lineup, right? They see the Fanny, and it looks like I don't think it's going to be as oppressive. They can still technically go for the Boxia if they want to. They don't have a lot of heal. There's a lot of damage, a lot of pickup potential from Echo's side. So it's either they lean into that even more, or they start to diversify. And this is they're actually leaning into it even more.
Whoa. I mean, it makes sense because the lack of CC, which finally they respond with an Atlas. The Karina was picked.
Wow,
But
okay.
now with an Atlas, it's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be super interesting because Superman is going to use it. And I don't know how to feel about this, so I'm just going over to Mirko and Eterna.
And to us, you are. Wow, all right. What an amazing and surprising last pick there into the Atlas for the side of Bigatron Alpha. And I gotta say, I think it works really well against the competition coming in from Echo, where they picked up something like the Karina, the Dairoth, Kaja Brody, who are relatively short range.
We've spoken about this, Eterna, literally behind the scenes. We just spoke about why maybe Key was opted in instead of Moreno. The flexibility between these two, Key and Vin. Usually when you see an Atlas pick, it's Key who actually goes on the Atlas and Vin will then go on the Faramis. I don't know if this is going to be the case. We did see earlier that those swaps were there towards the end. So maybe, just maybe, they feel like, you know what, Vin's a roamer, let's keep it that way.
Okay, we'll see. Because if it wasn't Key, that's a power pick. We've seen that all the way since I don't remember how many seasons ago. And
7.
he's been like that moment under the turret.
Against Onyx.
Dude, that's still seared into my memory. Trauma.
It was pretty traumatic as everyone who was rooting against Bigatron Alpha at the time. But here, I mean, we gotta take a look at JP, man, because I think, me personally as well, I'm feeling a bit of trauma after game number 1. JP literally just nailed Bigatron Alpha down with those divine judgments.
So with that, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2. Remember, it's down to a 1-0. If Bigatron can't secure this point for themselves, they're gonna be brought down to the lower bracket. None other by the Orcas. So you can see here with the Karina in the jungle, that's something that we don't see too often. Is it going to work?
We'll have to see. Again, I think this is the first pick that we've ever seen for the Karina in Snapdragon Pro Series Challenge Final. So it really comes down to how Zyda plays. And knowing he's very invasive, knowing he's very aggressive in the early game, honestly, this pick synergizes really well with his playstyle. So if he's able to steal a few more camps against Super Ken again and get a massive lead where neutral objectives becomes 100-0 for him, it's all good.
Okay, and looking at the emblems here, it's looking very interesting. You can see that Zyda on the Karina opted for a little bit more penetration. That I thought he might go for boots instead, but I guess he's looking for the damage here.
Yeah. So it's not going to be Karina tank, I believe, unless he wants to just rely on the base damage with some more penetration and even the mage emblem. We'll have to see about that. I do think, however, if he does go for damage, it's going to be very, very good for them. They can burst down almost everyone, even the frontliners. So Rizzo doesn't know that Zyda's there. You can see the damage coming down already as Superman rotates up top. But Echo are first here, and they will surely take the dub in this trade.
Now, though, you can see that Zyda isn't playing the Karina like he played on the Boxia. He's a little bit more non-aggressive. It looks like he's more focused on picks rather than... Oh, JP! Forcing a flicker right before the turtle. That's a really good resource there, taken out by Bigatron Alpha.
Oh, Sanford with a bit of misplay though. Now Sorizo with a flicker forward. Coming down, still stunned up. Key trying to splash a bit more damage with Superman. Now comes to the back. Stanford still able to dash out. Sanji with a feather airstrike. Well played. Echo got out of that sticky situation with their mechanics.
How is that possible? 0-0 still in the first 3 minutes of the game. And none of them have even collapsed on the turtle. That's the last thing on their minds. You can see that both of these teams are really focused on getting these picks, especially on those side lanes. But up to this point, both of them have read each other quite well.
Echo has still been a bit more aggressive though, and just as I say it, literally, they just do it. They are more aggressive. They know how to read Supervin. And now without a roamer, now even with Zyda having a level lead, but Supercan now jumping back inside with the cables. JP, half HP. Doesn't have the Divine Judgment. Supercan with a lot of damage coming down. Sorizo acting as the front line. Another airstrike coming down now on the Sorizo. Soaking up that damage. Has the Consecration. Has yet to pop it off. and it's going to be the turtle dance this time. Bigatron still holding on to it.
Vin's back though. Vin's back with the Fatal Links as well, so they can't go in for a, I would say, unthinking protrusion into that turtle, and so they don't, right? Super Vin's presence alone is enough to stave off Echo there, but that was almost a good play for Echo. Meanwhile, the top side, you know, Sorizo being able to get a little bit of an advantage in that lane, especially with how fast Super Ken is on the Fanny. The fact that he's able to mobilize onto the top lane, to the bottom lane, to give a little bit more pressure here and there. Certainly what we saw from game number 1 with Echo holding most of the map pressure, we were really not going to see that here in game number 2.
Bigatron Alpha definitely adjusting toward what Echo were able to bring in game number 1. But it still stays true though. Echo, they're a team who likes going for these neutral objective skirmishes even while behind, back at M4. With this lineup, it does seem like they're a bit more calculated, right? Not going for the neutral objective contest early on, understanding that they do not have as much pressure early, so they're waiting for that power spike. And when it hits in the mid-game, the Brody and the Forrester, heck, even the Karina and the Daira, the whole comp, it's a mid-game power spike comp.
But I like what Gideon mentioned during the draft.
What did he mention?
He was like, Sanji is given a high artillery mage with a lot of damage, but this time, because it's not on the Eve, it's on the Barca, that allows and gives a little bit of space for Bigatron Alpha to punish. And we see that, right? Sanji opens up that feather airstrike. You can finally see the dive coming in through. Maybe Sorizo was one of the things that we saw on the top side, and that alone is enough to prevent that damage from going through. So it really depends on how we see that. Oh my god, well, not like that!
Oh, maybe like that. Saida, follows through. Finds the Starlium site now, but hey man, I don't know. I say something, it happens. You say something, it happens. Maybe we should stop saying things.
It's not a curse though, because I was saying good things about
We're
oh,
blessing.
no.
Yeah, technically?
Well, I guess it depends.
I mean, if you're an Echo fan, that was definitely a curse. You don't want Sanji to be picked off like that.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, it's fine. But the Echo fans will take it that way.
No, you won't.
Alright, you love Yaoi, so it's all good.
They need to check this thing that I just uploaded, right? It's on the back of my phone, but
Oh.
back into the game here, 5 minutes, 6 minutes has elapsed. Already a hugely different picture that we saw in game number 1. It's a new drawing coming in from Bigatron Alpha. Already with a 400 gold lead, it's kind of going back and forth at this point, but this time around, we don't see outplay popping off too much from that early game, right? We don't see that snowball, and you can see Bigatron Alpha now already setting up for the next neutral objective. All the resources are up. The one thing that we need to highlight is the fact that both Zaida and Super Ken are on the same level, but even so, Echo, they're not going to commit.
Calculation. Remember what we mentioned earlier. This Echo isn't the Echo we know from M4 and MPL Peach Season 11. It is an Echo that is a bit more calculative in a way they take these team fights. Bigatron Alpha, though, if you want to play systematically, if you do not utilize that chaos, Bigatron Alpha are the systematic team. They understand how to utilize early game leads, neutral objective takes, and play it very disciplined and slow. And that's what we're seeing here. With the lack of team fights, oh, there you go, JP! He wants team fights, he wants to get in!
And that's a lot of damage put onto him. And so that's going to be a good pick there for Echo on Sorizo. But once again, look at Bigatron just trading back in advantage to them. And Super Ken! No way! He gets outplayed in a 2v1 against Zaida as well as Sanji. So now that is a good trade back for Echo, 2 for 2.
See? Make it chaotic. That's the Echo Express. That's how you play the game for Echo. That's their signature style.
The oomph. The oomph.
Even from the items you can see
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
We kind of said it. Zaida will go damaged. Yes, full damage. No longer tank Karina. The boring Karina is no longer.
I mean, we don't know yet.
No.
Right?
please
We
don't.
only see the Starling side so far. So she might go for hybrid later on, build a little bit of more defense. Or, you know, like you guys keep saying, you know, the best defense is a good offense. So full damage.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's what I've been saying in my streams as well. Just go full damage, fight it out, and don't be a nerd.
But what if they're behind like this? Oh, Echo in the bottom lane.
Oh, torn apart memory. Sorizo still surviving now. Full on engage. Superfin with a good, perfect match on the JP. Sorizo jumping in. Superfin! Oh no! He goes for the fatal lace, but it's onto the air. JP still falling. Super Ken picks that kill up. Bigatron Alpha still holding on to the lead. Nobody saw that. It's fine.
It's fine. No one saw that.
No one saw
that. Okay, now you guys can look back at the screen, right? Because that was so unfortunate for Echo. They went in for a pick, should have worked out, but how Bigatron Alpha worked was they were able to counter engage so well and actually take JP down in the process. So he's not going to be around just yet. Okay, well, now he's up. And both of these teams, they're looking and eyeing for the next prize, which is definitely this Lord. So Rizzo already there, trying to bait out Echo, trying to give information for his team as well. And there you go, Zaida, Holy Crystal, damage!
I love Zaida. You know, you mentioned Zaida, he's good, but he's no Carl Teasy. Yeah, he's not Carl Teasy. He goes full damage
I
this
didn't
time
say
around.
that.
Someone clip it, play it, or it was in group stage, somewhere in Echo game, all right? So with the Holy Crystal, though, we saw the burst to Super Ken without the Holy Crystal.
Yeah.
Now with the Holy Crystal, these members, if they are ever caught low, the team's gonna get wiped.
Here we go, JP already concealed play.
Perfect match though to cancel it out. So Divine Judgment coming through, but Superfin is able to take it out. No Divine Judgment. Super Ken is online now with no lockdown. Only the Brody, the reliable source of that CC single target.
Yeah, they're resetting once again here as well. You can see Super Vin not going to be able to utilize it so far, but what is able to be utilized is the fact that Super Ken in that top lane can go in for the push onto these waves. And I think wave management is one of the huge themes coming in from both these teams because of the way that they play. They don't exactly go for that strong endgame, but I might be wrong. Super Vin already going for a pick. He doesn't find it.
No, but he did exactly what he wanted to do. Oh, he just...
we didn't see it
Nobody
again.
saw that. No, Vin, my goodness, another one. Outplayed! Wow! I thought it was just the Benny special. Turns out it's every gold laner who plays for Echo. Ken gets out. Echo with 1 kill to trade for that Lord.
Oh man, we went blind twice.
Yeah, that was it was blinding because Echo were able to sidestep away from everything.
Yeah, I agree. If you want to be optimistic about it, but here it is. Echo, they unfortunately aren't able to get that Lord, so it is still going to be pushing there in that top side. And meanwhile, they are looking for trades elsewhere, but Bigatron Alpha really quick for the read. And the cool thing about the Karina is that we haven't seen the Karina too often, even though that she's technically a counter towards MMs, like basic attack MMs. So let's say Bigatron Alpha, Saken, deals a lot of damage. That's side of being able to push through all of it, no?
Yeah, it's going to be actually really hard to get through to the Karina, but if you are a marksman, if you are Socket, but the thing is, there's so much ability damage coming from Bigatron Alpha. Whoa, Divine Judgment, only on the Super Vin though. Still able to escape here. Again, back to the point, so much ability damage. Paramis, even the Bennett coming down with the Bennett's Rage, that is an ability. Even the ultimates, I think that you cannot actually immune from that with the Karina. So Bigatron Alpha have kind of trapped it in a way where the Karina can only evade from Saken.
All right, we'll see. But the airstrike already opened up. You can see the damage. They're just using it to be able to clear so far because if we're looking at the map, it's definitely red this time around. A completely different story than what we saw in game number 1. It really all depends on JP here. Honestly, he needs to find a good pick-off.
Really tough this game, right? There's so many frontliners. Good dodge away from the perfect match. JP looking for Divine Judgment, but Cerezo's kind of baiting it as well. Good steal. Super Vin back into the bush. Bush control. Bigatron Alpha picks up the tier 2 up in the mid lane. And it's all tier 2s taken out.
Wait, look at Zaida. He's been there for so long. I don't think Bigatron know where they are right now.
No.
He's looking for a pick.
He's looking for Saken.
Oh,
spawns him again.
Super again?
Oh, Zaida!
Oh my
Zaida! Oh, Zaida gets out. Zaida gets out. 3 calls. And it's almost as if nobody was there.
No, they'll never know.
Echo are usually loud, but in that case, they were just proud.
And quiet.
Yeah.
Did I ruin it? Sorry.
I mean, it was supposed to be a play on their name,
I
but
know,
sure,
but
Eterna.
it's okay, it's okay. I mean, right now, Bigatron Alpha, healthy lead, 3,000 here, the 12th minute of the game. Quite curious as to how the items are shaping up, but it might have to wait here as the Lord already spawning here in the Land of Dawn. You can see Super Vin already looking for a pick. The only person that can evade is Sanji with that Purify. But with that Feather Airstrike opened up really early. Interesting.
Yeah. That was an opener feathered airstrike. I think he's relying on getting the cooldowns here. Sanford knows where Super Ken is. The whole team knows where he is.
JP has a flicker. Conceal, popped in. Oh, JP! Beautifully done. Now Echo have the lead. Bigatron Alpha, they can't even contest this.
I think they want to though. Look at this. Key conceal plays. They're gonna go for the fatal links.
On the JP, Venezuela's coming out with an airstrike on the back. Sanji instantly cancels it out right now with 2 members knocked out by the Lord. They're gonna go inside up, picks up the Lord. 1, 4, 2. Sanji in the midst of it all, stalking, getting him down. Superman running him down. Perfect match connecting to Rizzo with a flicker forward. Outplayed. Now gonna be brought back to the team. 4 for 1.
What is Shadow Stampede coming out from a Bigatron Alpha? That's 4 members taken down for the price of 1. A Lord as well for Echo. But it looks like Bigatron Alpha with a healthy 5. They're gonna look to end.
Zaida now jumping in. Oh my goodness, almost does it. But Bigatron Alpha equalize in game number 2. 1-1.
1-1. A GGWP by the Red Robots. Cold, calculated, and sublime coming in from them as well, forcing Echo a game number 3. And that's just how we want it, right? We want it to be this competitive. You can hear everyone roaring at the stage as well. This is the passion. This is the level of Mobile Legends that we woke up for.
Oh man. This now is back to a best of 1.
Yes, let's see what analysts have to say about that game.
Well, first of all, we just gotta address the Biga Troopers are very happy right now. And again, we gotta give credit where credit is due, because Echo has been able to avoid all of those fatal links
Yes, they
by
have it.
not dodging it.
By not dodging it. I mean, those were one of those. Look, even though Echo was able to not dodge it,
Nah.
the moment it lands, that 4v5 at the very end by the Biga Troopers, oh my goodness. Socket, he was like, it's time. I finally get to play the game.
Yeah, dude, you know what? I kind of feel like at that point with Super Kid, it's just like, yeah, I'm the bait. You guys want me, don't you? Now let's look at this. Relatively, it's a very low score kill game. Like 5 kills, 7 kills. So it's all about the macro.
It really is. I mean, the high mobility coming out from Bigatron allowed them to get a couple of early turrets, but then afterwards, like Echo, they're just looking for those pickoffs.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the composition from Echo, why they struggle here is JP. I feel like, okay, sure, he got 4 assists, but then again, his Kaja doesn't seem invasive. Very passive Kaja, and which allows Bigatron, again, utilize their mobility to gain more map control.
I mean, it's not only just that, right? Like, look at Sanford. The fact that he's taking lethal aggression on that Darov, he's like, I want to win this lane, and I want to win it really hard. But Cerezo's like, I'm Uranus, bro. I don't ever lose.
Because of this kind of things, even as an analyst, I say there's no absolute in any kind of thing. Because everyone says, and it is true, that Dyrov is the counter to Uranus. Dyrov is the counter to Esmeralda. Dyrov is a counter to a lot of those bruiser-type heroes. But still, if you're just good enough, kind of doesn't matter. And it kind of did show here. So it does seem like Echo, in this particular series, they seem to be a little bit slow in terms of like, guys, what are we supposed to do? Because I don't see a lot of proactive plays from JP as well.
I mean, when you want to be proactive, you have to know when the counter engage is coming up for BTR, right? And that's the big problem with Atlas. You never know when Superfin. I mean, we saw in game number 1, Superfin comes up from very awkward positions and catches people off guard. It helps that he's on Atlas, who can hop over walls to make those angles even tighter. So it was fatal links that they were most worried about, and that's what got them at the very end.
Yeah, a very good mind game there for the side of Superman with that Atlas as well. But MVP, it's gotta fall to the hands of Faramis.
Okay,
Small alter.
after this, during the break, I need to test it out. What does Faber do for Faramis, you know?
So far, it's been doing a lot of good for Key because he has been making sure that even when he goes into these fights, he minimizes the amount of potential damage that Echo is applying onto the team, right? A 4v5 is never going to be easy. A 3v5, guaranteed loss in a particular team fight. So it's great that Key is able to kind of help disengage the team, or sometimes when they want to go even further, that's when they can really start pushing themselves in.
I mean, Key in this game was just everywhere, right? Helping the team out on the very tightest moment as well. This is where the final engage happens, I believe. JP caught it was 4v4, and there you go, the call alter there was just really done, and the Shadow Stampede towards that end as well was made was why Bigatron Alpha was able to just crack their base open wide.
Actually, looking at that fight, I think it's very easy to say that communication was the MVP.
Yeah.
Wanna know why? Because communication is key.
It really was. It really was. And looking at this hype, how these machine-like players, they're not bots anymore. They're a hive mind. They know exactly what they want to do. And with the shot calls that have been thrown out in this game, these are very high-stakes, high-pressure moments that they're able to overcome against Echo.
Oh, what would I do to see Merkel and Cherna's face just now? Were they cringing? Really wondering. All right, well, we can ask them later. But yeah, now it's a best of one because now we see a lot going on. Now the question is, both teams are able to do roster swaps here, right? Player swaps. I'm interested to see if JP is gonna get subbed out by Yaoi or anything, you know?
Do I think it is more of a compositional problem or a player problem? I feel like it's more of a compositional issue at this point of time, right? Because when you're thinking about it, oh yeah, I'm just going to latch on to one person, I'm going to pull him back in, you have plenty of combo, you have plenty of damage with the Dairoth as well as the Farsa. But then you look at your opponent's side, the counter engage, the safety precautions and safety measures that they have in place, maybe we're expecting to see, at least instead of going for that Kaja, turn it into a Kufra, look to be the aggressors rather than playing a little bit more passively than usual.
Yeah, I do see both of your points here, right? I mean, in Game 2, JP wasn't really extracting what the Kaja could do. But then again, if they really want to commit with JP, I feel like they should just, you know what? Don't worry, JP should just play. Very tough. The thing is, though, Bigatron Alpha, will they swap out Moreno now with Key? But then again, Key got MVP, so you know what? I think we will stick with the same 10 rosters here. Game 3, adjustment-wise, Uranus here. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Game 1, Echo got it, they won. Game 2, Bigatron got it, they won. Will they contest again, or will they just, you know what? Uranus too much, and it out of the first phase.
I feel like if I was in Echo's position, the amount of flexibility that they try to position themselves in the first half of the draft is a little difficult. Like Arlet, why is the Arlet not even a consideration?
Look, I really feel because of the Uranus, they're just like, yeah, let's just counter. And if you have the counter, it doesn't work out. Doesn't work out. But if you guys want to work out, you guys need a lot of energy. Make sure you guys get monster energy, unleash the beast, because with more energy, there's more that can be done. And both teams need a lot to get done. So thank you very much, Monster Energy, for sponsoring the event. Now, talking about it again, okay, fine. We talked about the players. Should they swap it? Should they not? We'll see a bit later. In terms of the heroes, I do agree with your point. I kind of feel like at this point, ban out the Uranus. Don't give that advantage to either side.
I feel that yes,
And no.
and no.
I
Because
guess like
again,
Dairoth couldn't do it.
I mean, to be fair, it's because Uranus is real. His numbers are really inflated at this point in time, and especially with the new emblem system, it makes it even better. Look at that stage, though, dude!
Monster Energy for the win.
Monster Energy. But yes, I do think it's more of a compositional problem more than anything else, right? You are streamlining yourself. It's like saying the Samsung Galaxy is only good at one thing. That is not true. It is extremely flexible, and that's what you need in this game. I think for that first half of the draft, start positioning yourself flexible because you know Bigatron, they want a team fight, right? So why does Echo just want to streamline themselves to just playing pickoffs?
I do see your point here. I feel like Echo again. I don't see the proactiveness from the side of Echo in game
Right?
2, which perhaps we should see from Kaja from JP. So I think JP needs to be more. Do the gambling play, do the ballsy move with the Kaja if they do want to commit to another Kaja. Any hero that JP plays, he needs to be be the
Aggressor,
be
the proactive.
Take the risk.
I mean, it is risky at the end of the day, and I understand where he's coming from because you don't want to get that counter. You don't want to be the linchpin like game number one, pulling the wrong person. Oh no, they're all coming at us, and then the big turnaround after having a 4K gold lead in game number one.
Here's the thing. I feel all of these points is going to be good because we're going to see a video of Bigatron Alpha for us to get a little bit more idea about what's going on as well.
This one. Because when tournament I wrong band the hero. Dia oh ini sering nge-lag dia nih. Di sini. Sulit to ready. Okay. Let's throw. Win. The throw man. Yesterday. Ini aja deh gue pukulin. Sudah main. Anya. Ini pukulin. Just follow. No, I don't know. Ini girlfriend. No left. Oh, this too. I don't know anything. What surrender? Oh, nah, this always surrender, people. If I so many die, I want for surrender. Let's go with for surrender.
First is that I can more focus on the game itself. Second, it's the cheers from the crowds. It really hypes me up and makes me motivated to play my best game.
I will like play on stage because all my negativity is gone on the stage.
The audience, like whenever there's clash and the favorite team wins, like they're so hyped.
Dengan turnamen offline mungkin ada penontonnya, jadi kayak lebih seru aja gitu kayak mainnya, terus bisa bacotin lawan juga. Jadi kayak lebih seru aja lah, kayak nyata gitu lawannya di depan.
Atmosfernya lebih dapat aja sih, karena kan kita bisa lihat musuhnya secara langsung. Terus juga ada penonton yang nyemangatin kita, ya itu mental boost buat kita juga.
I used to say that my performance is better online, but now I think offline is much better because of the communication wise.
Lebih suka turnamen offline sih, karena dari hype-nya itu, terus apalagi kalau main offline kan biasanya ada penonton, jadi teriakan-teriakan penonton tuh bisa buat memicu adrenalin juga lah, biar makin semangat kayak gitu.
Playing online has no pressure. I mean, you can play whatever game you want, but in the on stage with many crowds, I think you can be more pressure, and then you'll be scared to play, like make more mistakes like that.
I'm very excited if I play offline because like I have to push my energy. It's getting fun if play offline.
We gotta push to the limit and work till we finish and push to the limit and work.
So it looks like the players love the crowd, and I personally like them hitting themselves when even Dave is like, okay, yeah, guys, my bad. It's like, what I remember was something like, who's the most likely to throw the game? And it's like, yeah, it's me. It's me.
It's definitely. I mean, everybody has their own kind of way to kind of think about things, but I just love the fact that Saga is just like, I don't have life. I don't do anything else. I just play video games all day. Just MLBB. That's all I'm made for.
Very entertaining video indeed. Oh my God, that was I like those type of
One day
video.
maybe we could do it. There's an idea there.
That's a content idea.
There's a
right
content idea.
there. But let's reel it back a little bit because so far I'm noticing a trend that in the draft itself, I think it's not like it came down to like 1 or 2 moments. Half the time it's just whether you're on blue side or red side that really makes the difference in these matches.
You know what? You're right. So in this series, who got the 100% win rate? Blue or red?
It is currently
red.
Currently, it'll be red side as of right now.
Wow.
As of right now in this match. And I think, that's a very key point here because, again, when you are looking for those first picks, you are looking for opportunities to ask your opponent the question. Man, Uranus, he is quite the problem so far.
That, but I also have to say, they got to be very careful because the first pick so far, you got to be careful on your first pick. Because so far today, we've seen some mistakes being happen when you have the first pick, like because you're talking about not to be too narrow-minded in the way streamlined. Because
vision.
I kind of feel like picking up the Kaja as a first pick, honestly, Kaja is like an anchor for your draft. Everything has to center around the Kaja now, right? So I kind of feel like that's a big mistake.
Yeah, it's literally a flagpole. It's saying like, I want to play a pick-off composition, and you're just hoisting up that flag for everybody to see. I do think that maybe we might see some adjustments from Echo side. We know that they're more flexible in comparison to BTR, but then the big questions start to come in. What do they release? If you ban out the Uranus, does that mean maybe the Claude or even the Valentina might just slip through the draft?
Maybe, right? Because it has been a lot of varieties has come out as well, and we saw that that particular game, Kadita was not banned nor picked, where we usually saw Kadita banned in that first phase, if I'm not mistaken.
Usually. But even then, it's still a tough matchup. At the end of the day, it comes down to what the teams have been scrimming, and I feel like with JP right now, Echo has a very clear idea of what they want, but is that going to win them this final match?
So looking at Series 1 and Series 2, I would say Series 1 is quite the snowball just because Echo could control the jungle. In Series number 2, the fact that they could not do much in the jungle and Super Ken was able to go wild with his Fanny, I kind of feel like that's a big difference. So one of the other big differences here is jungle control. If Super Ken has space, it's going to be looking very good for BTR. But if he's already having a very losing matchup in the jungle, then it's going to be looking really bad. So Uranus, sure, we talked about it, but the jungle is going to be super key as well. And now BTR, they're the one picking up the Kaja, and you were talking about Kadita, and instantly Echo picks up the Kadita.
Come on. I mean, this one, it's got to be Uranus here, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Uranus for Echo, right?
Why not? 100% in this series. Again, very typical, very meta. Sanford really likes the hero as well. Why not the Uranus? Now, with the Kadita though, still a question. Will it fall to the mid side or the roam? Bigatron though, the Kaja first pick. Now they're saying, hey yo, I want to play the pickup game.
Hey yo,
JP, can you only play Kaja? Let's see what the reply is going to be because now Nikito gets to go through, and this is I love this flex pick, right?
Yeah.
Fredrin, I think is a little boring. At least with Nikito, there's a little bit more give and take here.
honestly, like, even as an EXP laner, it's really strong because the fact that the second skill now, Jab, damages the minion as well, makes your clear speed super fast. So, with the Karita, with the Paquito, if they put Paquito in the EXP and maybe a Boxia in the jungle, the rotation speed coming in from Echo is going to be way too much that BTR may not be able to respond.
I don't know. Uranus is still up because at the end of the day, if you have a big bulky tank that just literally plants his feet down, stands in front of the wave, he can just take it. Fanny is going to slip through their fingers again. Uranus is going to slip through their fingers again. So BTR, they're setting themselves up for success.
Should a Hilda be shown here?
Hilda or Carry here? Is Carry a good pick? Going up against Kaja and Uranus, it will melt the tanky units. I don't know. I don't know about the Hilda though.
No, based on Red Giants going up against Onyx, we see how strong the Hilda can be because a lot of people tried to kill off the Hilda. It did not work out. Look at Fanny as well as Uranus. I don't think that they can kill the or punish the Hilda early on.
I agree with that. I totally agree with you. But this also comes down to the big question of what the side lanes are going to be. Because in that previous matchup, they had side lanes that could not push out. They could not win their 1v1s. So immediately, you can see that the side lanes rotate with the Hilda to kind of cover her when the situation starts to get dire. I think this Franco is a much better pick because at least you can slow down the buffs. You can really start forcing out motions from your opponent early from a safe distance rather than putting yourself at constant risk.
And to add to that, right, with this Franco pick, it adds a sure single lock towards the Fanny who will deal damage towards the backside here. So to protect your marksman later on, to protect outplayed, it does just make sense here. Second phase, Echo. I think they will ban the mages here, right? Seeing that BTR here, so perhaps a Barca Eve ban here. There you go.
Good bands so far. Now it's all about taking out the scaling, right? Because so far, it's like, yeah, you kind of scale, but you still need the damage at the end of the day for the side of Bigatron.
So for now, both teams have Suppress, and when Suppress is there, Carrie and Brody will have a very good time. Darov gets banned out, thinking that this Paquito most likely will go to the jungle, or just forcing this Paquito, making sure that it goes to the EXP. So now what other thing do they want to ban on? Do they want to ban on the Fredrin, or are you looking for a particular marksman that they don't want to give out? Maybe a Brody, because so far, Outplay has been using Brody twice. Don't think it's that big of a problem, but
Yeah.
you know, just putting it out there.
I think that the only reason why you would get rid of the Brody is because, yes, at least you have a secondary way to lock down the Fanny for a short period of time, but also because with the torn apart memories and with the way that we're expecting Echo to play, it's all about pickoffs, it's all about quick bursts, in and out, guerrilla tactics, get the kill, and you're out, profit. That's the overall game plan, and Brody definitely works in their favor.
Oh, Boxia, I like it. I like the Boxia ban, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the rotation, right?
So that means that Bigatron is like, we want this early game to go smooth, like really, really smooth.
It does make sense. We saw the head-to-head Fanny and Baksha, and there you go, the Brody. So it will be a Brody three-peat for side of Outplayed. What will Bigatron choose here? A good mage, perhaps?
I mean, they're just going to lock in the Farmus once more,
Farmus
right?
again?
Farmus ban.
Oh, it's already been out. Oh, yes, from Echo's side. I was looking at Bigatron once more, hoping that they would just lock it in straight off the bat. But now, with that being said, right, at least now, where do they find that damage? They don't have access to Farsight. They don't have access to Eve. They could just go, I mean...
Wait. What about Lauren mid? It's kind of crazy, but, you know, with Uranus, like, imagine how annoying it could be, right?
What about Lilia? Does Lilia work? No, it's Novaria.
Yeah, I think Novaria was going to be a safer pick, because if they go for Lilia, Kadita just one-shots you, you can't do much about that. Oh, Ling for the side of Echo.
Ooh.
Assassin going up against Assassin. You know what? This might be a high-octane match, so I'm just going to pass it over to Mirko and Eterna.
Hi! Thank you for passing it over to us, Lafel.
Wow.
Wow, great!
We love you, Lafel, especially
do.
for that key joke. I've been making that joke from season 7,
No.
and I've been the only one making that joke in MPL ID. So thank you, Lafel. I
mean, 1 out of
appreciate
10.
it.
1 out of 10.
See, you see, this is the response I usually get. But anyways, if you rate my jokes 1 out of 10, what would you rate the drafts?
50-50.
Okay.
50-50. Because initially I was like, okay, Bigatron, got it. I'm like, no, wait, Echo, wait, no, whoa. But yeah, it was so 50-50 that at the end, it feels like a skill matchup. Both of these compositions have answers to one another, and this is looking like a great game number 3.
I agree. I think if there was a game number 3 for a matchup like this, Bigatron Alpha versus Echo, we deserve a 50-50 draft. We deserve to just let the players go all out. And I think both coaches, shout out to Aldo and Trevor, for giving us an amazing draft for both of the teams. Because now, if you lose, it's a skill issue.
You're right, so we'll see. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to a best of 1. Echo, once again from the Philippines, going against the Red Robots in Bigatron. We'll see exactly how this final game pans out as we enter the Land of Dawn.
Zaina starting on the orange buff here, trying to, well, I would say respect the orange buff steal that can come through a Fanny. JP, though, this time you can see no one actually expects this. Oh, the orange was put to the bush, but he still didn't realize it. JP finally now visible, has to walk behind. Oh, grabs the orange buff. Cheeky little play going on. Gets chunked quite low, so Rizzo comes into cover. And Super Ken, this is going to delay his farming by a lot.
Yeah, that bought him a lot of time for the Ling to be able to do his thing. And you can even see that he is in a little bit of a lead so far. Looking at the emblems though, very aggressive here by Zaida, going in for the assassin emblem.
Very, very aggressive, right? I mean, going for the killing spree is a must. Well, technically not a must. We've seen quantum charges. Heck, we've even seen lethal ignition from Sutsujin on the Ling. So at this point, emblems are very, very flexible. And I really like the fact that Zaida went for the killing spree here. Understanding that in this game, Outplayed actually went for quantum charge instead of the killing spree for the Brody. So the main guy who's going to be assassinating in the back is Zaida. Killing spree grants you so much movement speed, so much more pressure when you get those kills.
And on top of that, like literally everyone went agility. So we're expecting a really fast-paced game, but we need to talk back onto the composition that they brought, right? Because a lot of the side of Echo, they have a lot of pick-off potential. But they are going to heavily rely on that level 4, so you can even see that the Kadita is going to roam to that bottom side to get that up. Meanwhile, Sanford and Zaida already very quick on their toes, looking for that next neutral objective.
Oh, knockout strike coming down to Rizzo. Forced to run away now. Beautiful first neutral objective secured by Echo. But on the top side, you can see the pressure placed down onto Outplayed with Saken popping into the Bruce Passion. Even Super Ken. Ooh, dodging away from the hook. Might go for a dive, but understanding Outplayed has that second skill. You will respect it. Outplayed does get chunked, however. And this is going to be a lot of pressure that is relieved off of that lane for Saken.
Oh, but not for him. Here's Supervin. He's going to be comboed out. That's definitely a kill onto that member. Meanwhile, Super Ken.
Whoa. Very aggressive. This is a bit too aggressive. Gets caught in the ocean. Wow, Echo. He definitely didn't expect Sanford running all the way from XP to the top lane.
That's pressure there. That's punishment coming in from Echo. Their two members already taken out from the side of Bigatron Alpha, going to push that lead to 1,000 here in the first 3 minutes of the game. And this is it. This is the give and take that we were talking about. The fact that both of these teams have a lot of similarities to their composition, and the fact that the Ling really answered a lot of the problems that Bigatron Alpha had for them, right? They were banking on Key to deal that damage from the backline, so as well as Saken. But with the Ling being able to dive into the backline, what's to stop Zaida from really popping off? Supervin, but he got caught out earlier on.
Here though, Super Ken going up against Sanford, getting a few good jabs. Zaida's looking for the kill right now as Super Ken is able to get out with the cable. So Rizzo chasing Sanford down, looking for a punish. But Sanford's a bit too slick with it. Just jumps around, gets out. JP caught him in Divine Judgment, Bennett's Rage, and even the Astral Sphere. Not enough though. JP flickers out to safety.
I wonder if we're going to get stats on hooks this game. Because we got it during the challenge season. I hope we are going to get it as well. Because I'd really like to see how many times JP lands this hook. What is his impact in the game so far? But now with Sanji already picking up that Clock of Destiny, starting to scale, needs that second item as soon as possible to be able to maximize on that pickup potential. But meanwhile here, Bigatron already first on the turtle. And that's why I love the Bakito so much, right? If Super Ken gets mispositioned just a little bit, Sanford's going to be there to burst him out. But with 3 versus 4, let's see who gets the turtle.
Well, JP's walking up now. Super Ken still waiting in the bush, jumping onto Sanji right now, but he finds, oh, he does it! So Rizzo is able to escape from that. No Petrify used up just yet. Retribution battle coming through. The Bloody Hunt locks him down. Beautiful secure by Zaida, as Super Ken's now caught, able to escape for a bit. Astral Echo revealing all of them now. Super Ken coming back. Astral Spear connecting onto the back, and now it's a Flicker Divine Judgment to bring Sanford back. Sanford, though, is still able to escape. Not for long! So Rizzo spins his way to another kill.
Oh my god! Mirko actually spun! I'm so sad that nobody saw it. But yeah, that's a 2v1. No, that's a 2v1 because Bigatron Alpha. Oh, wait a minute, Zaida! Is really gonna go for this? This is very aggressive. At least there's no lockdown there in the bottom lane, is what I meant. Echo lost 2 members, but they got the turtle. Alright, so that's a little bit of trade going on here. Zaida already caught very low here with the damage coming in from Sorizo. Meanwhile, you can see that they want to be able to punish Key in this mid lane, but the hook doesn't connect onto Supervin as well.
Oh, he spots 2 members as well there. Key. Now with the Astral Echo, 3 members spotted out around that top lane. Beautiful bloody hunt there to stop any sort of engage, and Super Vin gets caught. That should be a kill over to Outplayed with the torn apart memory. And Echo, once again, take back the gold lead.
With how many resources that was spent on that pickup, if he didn't die, that would have been really unfortunate. But look at this, once again, Uranus just being Uranus, doing Uranus things, already has that dominance eyes on him as well to help him out in that lane against the Paquito. But otherwise, it's still all fun and games for him, still
Hey.
being able to cut.
Stop
What?
talking about Uranus. Stop
What's wrong?
complimenting Uranus. Gideon hates that.
Why?
Gideon hates Uranus.
But it's a curse,
Oh, okay. Continue.
if it works that way. Really depends. But yeah, back on this again. What differences do we see that is big for the gold laners here? I was quite curious. I thought that Outplayed would have gotten a little bit more of a lead, but it turns out they're all equals. But Saken picks up that BOD.
Oh, Divine Judgment, even though Outplay flickered out of it, Bigatron Alpha are still able to find the Divine Judgment. And now the gold lead is back again towards the red robots. Vin starts off the turtle. Saken's there to help go through with it. Meanwhile, Superken's down below though. Echo want to go for it. Iron Hook only onto the turtle. They're going to go try to burst this down. Superken was given information. Now he's rotating over, but Saida picks it up now. The Petrify connects and a bloody hunt to lock Superken down. Super Vin in the midst of it all. Stanford looking for one more punch. Saken able to dodge away from the Iron Hook. And Super Vin gets out of Saida's catch. Still able to pinch boys away. So Rizzo now chasing JP down. Saken trying to help. Outplayed in the bush, waiting for an ambush. Echo takes back the gold lead again.
With a huge advantage as well, taking Super Ken down, and oh my god, JP with a hook. Unfortunately, it does land to Rizzo of all players, so they're not going to commit onto that just yet. The question was, with them centering around that that turtle earlier on, with 3 levels that Zaida has in comparison to Super Ken, why is it that Bigatron Alpha keep committing onto this?
Yeah, that was a very weird move, and that's why you could see Echo. Again, this calculative Echo, they understood exactly how to punish Bigatron Alpha. They were kind of confused themselves, I think. Echo were like, wait, Zaida has a level lead, he has a purple buff, Super Ken is down 3 levels, and doesn't have the purple buff at that moment now. Super Vin gonna be caught in the breath of the ocean. Sanji looking for the rough ways, but Super Vin, he finds the Divine Judgment now on the Sanji, and he gets bursted down. Meanwhile, Saken caught in the midst of a team fight. Zaida buys a Wind Talker, simultaneously picking up a double kill. 2 for 1, Bigatron Alpha on the back foot.
And you can see Echo looking for more to push and propel them forward. That turret is going to fall in that mid lane. Meanwhile, Super Ken looking for a kill. He doesn't even get it onto JP. And it looks like Bigatron Alpha, they're not able to find anything in return. Echo with a 1,500 gold lead in this 9th minute of the game. They're already able to get another turret in that bottom lane, looking for one in the top side, but here we go, a 2v2.
Oh, knocked up there. Time of the blades used up. Zaida picking up 2. Gets out. No purple buff on both of these junglers. Lord coming back up. Not a risk that both teams are willing to take to fully commit onto that team fight. But JP, take a look at that. Early immortality. Wants to just flicker forward to get a bloody hunt, and then he will just take the sacrifice. He'll just die. Whatever. I have the immortality, bro.
Yes, oh no!
Sanji with a rough wave. Super Ken is down right when the Lord spawns in, and now it's all Echo. Bigatron can no longer contest.
They can't. All they can do is open up the map and hope for a miracle, but it looks like they're gonna go ahead and contest this.
Bloody Hunt coming down, Astral Echo as well. Zaida, perfect retribution. Saken able to dash away, but Echo, they have now completely grasped onto the gold lead.
I don't even know what to say about Sanji now. Right? How
So good. He's just
on
too good.
earth do you take down Super Ken on a Fanny on the Kadita with that one combo? It's just not supposed to work like that. Sanji broke the game in that sense, and Bigatron Alpha, they're looking for scraps. Super Ken unable to get that And now he's so far behind. Zaida already level 15, Super Ken level 12. Again, this is not the story that we are used to for Bigatron Alpha. Whenever BTR play, it's always Super Ken with 2-3 levels ahead of the enemy jungler. But somehow Echo are able to really punish Super Ken and out-rotate Bigatron Alpha. And this is what we get in return.
It's through that chaos, and even up top again, Super Ken almost gets taken out by another ambush, a 2v1. Turrets, tier 2s falling across the board, bottom and top. Bigatron Alpha, they committed onto the defense in the mid lane, but it is inevitable. Echo now pushing into that mid lane with JP, sandwiching them, trying to look for an angle for a good iron hook. Conceal coming down, Astro Echo revealed them in this position, but Echo will just take what is rightfully theirs and leave.
Can we see the items real quick? Like, please, just a second here, producers. Because did Saken just pick up that Malefic Roar in the 11th minute of the game?
I think it's safe
How
to say
far behind is he?
he's pretty behind here. I mean, in this game, you can see, even though he's only been picked off once, the map control says everything, right? The fact that Echo have taken all the tier 2s down shows you that Bigatron Alpha haven't been given enough space to form on this Beatrix. Saken is severely behind JP with a brilliant iron hook into the breath of the ocean. Now Super Ken in the midst of it all with Venezuela coming up into the back line. Zaida! Now caught in the line, judgment gone down! Zaida! Able to escape as Echo demolish the front line of Bigatron Alpha.
Did you see what Zaida did just now, ladies and gentlemen? What in the world? He was able to use that Tempest of Blades in the final.
JP! Again with the iron hook, it's it! It's over! Super Ken jumping in desperation, the base wide open! Bigatron Alpha! They have fallen to Echo! They have been knocked down to the depths of the lower brackets!
What a play! What a game! What a series by Echo! With so many doubts surrounding this new roster, this MDL team against Bigatron Alpha, full of MDL players, Mirko. It looks like that was not a deterrent, that was not a factor whatsoever for the Orcas.
Not at all.
It's gonna be a red bloodbath.
It
in the lower
really
brackets.
is. Udo Red Giants, Bigatron Alpha. Wow.
I have no comment whatsoever.